Good evening, brother. Tonight we're going to have a special presentation about the end time scenario, what's going on with our political landscape, and particularly our President Trump and some of the events happening lately that's pointing to prophecy about to take place. So we want to make sure to show you these things so that you may be aware. Now, we have prayed and we ask that you pray before you watch this video, that the Spirit of truth may guide you into all truth, and that you may have a clear conception of these things that are happening before our eyes. It's very, very important that we pay attention. Like the scriptures say, be aware, keep watch of what's going on, and we have to take in exactly what is happening today. All right, our first video will be on President Trump and just what happened the other day when he made the announcement that he is the chosen one. We're going to go ahead and play that for you.
China's made $500 billion. $500 billion. Ripped it out of the United States. And not only that, if you take a look, intellectual property theft, add that to it. And add a lot of other things to it. So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. So I'm taking on China. I'm taking on China on trade. And you know what? We're winning.
Does Hong Kong give you leverage in the China talks?
I don't view it as leverage. No, I hope Hong Kong works out in a very humane way. I don't view it as leverage or non-leverage. I hope it works out in a humane way. And I think that President Xi has the ability to make sure that happens.
Okay. So we just showed President Trump make an announcement in the media, and I'm sure all of you saw the president look up to the sky and say that he is the chosen one. And this is pretty significant when we take into consideration the rest of what we're about to show you. One of the things that we need to look at is Revelation 13, 11 to 18. We see that the two-horned beast will be known. Here's what it says. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. And we know that as 666. And of course, this is a connection to the beast, speaking of Revelation 13, 11 to 18, not Revelation 13, 1 to 10. This is speaking of Revelation 13, 11 to 18. So we have to keep that in mind. So we want to break down the 666 identification. The following facts are evidence that the Pope cannot be the 666 man. Well, number one, whenever the Bible speaks of the leopard-like beast, it mentions the womb, and that's Revelation 13:3 and Revelation 13:12 and Revelation 13:14. And the beast described in connection with the 666 man, Revelation 13:11 to 18, makes no mention of the womb. So this is the first point. The second point is the context of describing 666 is clearly the two-horned beast. And that's found in Revelation 13:11 to 18. Number three, Spirit Prophecy's book, The Word to the Little Flock, says the 666 belongs to the two-horned beast. And we'll show you that in a second here. Before we do that, we want to show you one of the quotes that is in the Spirit Prophecy. As the papacy, according to the Spirit Prophecies, has had her day. We cannot expect the 666 man beast to rise to the center stage of the power if it's the Pope. And again, this is Spalding Megan edition, page 14. I saw that the two-horned beast had a dragon's mouth, and that his power was in his head, and the decree would go out of his mouth. Then I saw the mother of harlots, that the mother was not the daughters, but separate and distinct from them. She has had her day, and it is past, and her daughters, the Protestant sex, were the next to come on stage and act out the same mind that the mother had when she persecuted the saints. I saw that as the mother had been declining in power, the daughters had been growing, and soon they will exercise the power once exercised by the mother. This is very powerful, brethren. This shows that, according to the spirit prophecy, the papacy has had her day, and that the Protestants are the ones that we now should be looking at. And it's so true, because the Protestant powers, the nations that have this Protestant power, United States and England, and so many others are now taking the stage. And we don't see Rome leading out politically like many of the videos and websites make you think. It's not happening that what they're showing you. Okay, so let's go to those two little flock very important references. The last power that treads down the saints is brought to view in Revelation 13, 11 to 18. His number is 666, and that's found on page 9. And then we have another one on page 19. I saw that all that would not receive the mark of the beast and of his image in their foreheads or in their hands could not buy or sell. I saw that the number 666 of the image beast was made up, and that it was the beast that changed the Sabbath, and the image beast had followed on after and kept the popes and not God's Sabbath. Again, that's found in page 19. These two quotes clearly identify the 666 as connected to the two-horned beast. Now we're going to go to the first quote from the Elijah message. And it says, there are many beasts spoken of in the Bible, but this two-horned beast is the only one that can be termed a man. It will be noticed that from the 11th verse on of the 13th chapter of Revelation, the scripture speaks of the two-horned beast and closes with the words, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 666. Therefore, the mystical number 666 belongs to the two-horned beast and none other. The idea that the papacy is called the beast is altogether wrong. The papacy is represented by symbols on two different beasts. First, on the nondescript of Daniel 7, by the little horn having eyes like the eyes of a man and a mouth speaking great things. Second, on the leopard-like of Revelation 13, by the head that was wounded to death. These beasts are universal, representing the entire world in their time, both civil and religious. Therefore, it could not be said of either beast, it is a man. The papacy, being only part of both beasts, head horn on one and simply a wounded head on the other, cannot be called the beast. The two-horned beast is the only one representing a local religio-political government. Therefore, of him alone can it be said, it is a man. Thus, whoever shall stand at the head of that persecuting power as described in this chapter and represented by the beast is the one who shall bear the mystical number 666. So we have very clear explanation here, brethren, that this beast, the 666 man, is connected with the two-horned beast, which is, as we know, as present truth believers, the United States of America. Now let's get back to President Trump here. We see that continually throughout his campaign and his presidency, he has shown the hand signal 666. Now, this is not just once in a while thing. This is on a regular basis. So that tells us that either subconsciously Trump knows that he is the 666 man, or consciously he's purposely doing this. We don't know for sure, but irregardless, it is a signal given time and again. We see more signs of this coming from the president, and we noticed that he gives a sign as well to the big stadium presentations he puts forth. So, how can we put this all together? How close are we to the end of current world system? The final message of Elijah, Malachi 4:5, tells us, while the powers of the earth are engulfed in a gigantic war, the wicked in the church shall be cut off, no more to pass through her. This is a very powerful, brethren. This is found in track 14, page 22. Notice it says, while the powers of earth are engulfed in a gigantic war, the church purification comes. We're talking about Ezekiel 9. Now, you notice it doesn't say after the powers of the war engulfed in a gigantic war or before the powers, it says while. So we have to see that once these bombs start flowing, once the Iran, Iraq, United States, Russia, China, all in the Middle East start this prophesized war, missiles flying all over, we know it is time for a very, very startling event, as the Spirit Prophecy calls it, in which the great and dreadful day will come. The great and dreadful day is not the Lord coming in the clouds. That's a false teaching by the adversary. It is the church purification as spoken of in Malachi chapter 3, verse 1 to 5. And then we as present truth believers know that that's the fulfillment. Once the church purification happens, at this time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book. Daniel 12:1. We know that there's a time of special resurrection as well at this church purification time, where the faithful Seventh-day Adventists, Ellen White, Brother Victor Hodoff, all the different pioneers that trusted in Jesus or walked in the light that they had, will be raised up to go along with the 144,000 to the kingdom. And that kingdom will be set up in Jerusalem, in the Holy Land. You can find that in Isaiah chapter 2, verse 2 and 3, where it says, in the latter days, the word of the Lord shall come from Jerusalem. So we know that all of this is going to be coming together as soon as that solemn, fateful war begins in the Middle East. And we want to bring that to your attention today, because if you're following the Middle East events, you know very well it's a powder keg. It's about ready to explode. Iran is getting very upset because the screws are being put to her, sanctions, and they cannot sell the oil as free as they used to. They are very upset. And the United States is provoking, being a troublemaker, as it were, to instigate something that we shouldn't be doing. But of course, this is all the Lord's doing. It's putting all the pieces together so that his word will be fulfilled. Keep in mind that he promised throughout the scriptures that he would return his people to the Holy Land someday. That's part of the covenant to the believers. And so in order to do that, it's unfortunate, but the people there today in the Holy Land have to be cleared out. They must move. They will not move willingly. This war is going to accomplish the Lord's purposes. So we hope you've been blessed tonight, and you take this to heart, prayerfully consider what we've shown you, and be ready, be on watch, because these times and these fulfillments are at hand. God bless.